Let me tell you something that might change your life today. The moment someone provokes you, they're not testing your patience. They're testing your power. And every time you react without awareness, you hand that power away. Now listen closely. I want you to understand this before we go any further. Staying calm is not about being passive, weak, or silent. Staying calm is about choosing yourself in the face of emotional chaos. It's about refusing to let someone else hijack your nervous system, your dignity, and your sense of worth. When someone tries to provoke you, what they're really doing is throwing an emotional hook into the water, hoping you'll bite. They want a reaction, anger, tears, defensiveness, because reactions make them feel powerful. But here's the truth. Most people never learn the calmest person in the room is always the one in control. You don't lose your calm because they're strong. You lose your calm because something inside you feels threatened. Your respect, your identity, your boundaries. And that's not a flaw, that's human. But growth begins when you stop asking, why are they doing this to me? And start asking, what is this awakening inside me? Calm is not something you force. Calm is something you practice moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. In this journey together, I'm going to show you how to pause without freezing, how to stay grounded without shutting down, and how to protect your inner peace without becoming cold or distant. Because the goal isn't to win the argument. The goal is to walk away with your self-respect intact. When you're ready, we move to the next truth, the one that explains why provocation hurts so deeply and how to stop it at the root. Let's talk about why provocation doesn't just annoy you. It shakes you. Because if we don't understand this, calm will always feel like a performance instead of a choice. When someone provokes you, they're rarely attacking the surface. They're pressing on a tender place, a place tied to your worth, your history, your unmet needs. That's why the reaction feels immediate and physical. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks, your mind races. This isn't weakness. This is your nervous system protecting you. Your body is asking one urgent question. Am I safe right now? The problem is your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an emotional one, a raised eyebrow, a sarcastic comment, a dismissive tone. They all register as danger if they remind you of moments when you were ignored, shamed, or made to feel small. That's why some people can insult you and you feel nothing. And one specific person can say one sentence and suddenly you're on fire. Provocation works when it touches an old story. I'm not respected. I'm not enough. I'm about to lose control. Here's the powerful shift. You are not overreacting. You are remembering. And once you understand that, calm becomes compassion, not for them, for yourself. Staying calm doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting old wounds make new decisions. The moment you can say internally, this feels familiar, not fatal, something remarkable happens, your breath slows, your shoulders drop, you create a tiny space between stimulus and response. And in that space, your power returns. In the next section, I'll show you what to do in that exact moment when your body is screaming to react and how to pause without suppressing your truth. Let me give you a tool that looks simple but changes everything, the intentional pause, not silence, not avoidance, a pause. When someone provokes you, your instinct is speed, defend, explain, attack, prove. But speed is the enemy of wisdom. The pause is where calm is born. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't calm your mind first, you calm your body first. The body leads, the mind follows. So when provocation hits, your job is not to say the perfect words. Your job is to slow the moment down. Take one deliberate breath, not deep, not dramatic, just long enough to tell your nervous system, I'm not in danger. Feel your feet. Relax your jaw. Unclench your hands. This is not weakness. This is regulation. And here's the part that takes courage. You let the discomfort exist. You don't rush to get rid of it. You don't numb it with sarcasm or rage. You stay present with it. Because when you rush, you react from fear. When you pause, you respond from values. The pause creates a question inside you. Who do I want to be in this moment? Not how do I win, not how do I shut them down, but how do I stay aligned with myself? Sometimes the pause lasts 3 seconds. Sometimes it lasts the rest of the conversation. And yes, people may notice. They may feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Your calm will often unsettle those who thrive on chaos. In that pause, you stop performing for their approval. You stop feeding the fire. You choose dignity over drama. In the next section, I'll show you how to protect your calm with words, what to say when silence isn't an option, and how to speak without escalating the situation. Let's be clear about something. Staying calm does not mean staying silent when your boundaries are being crossed. Calm has a voice. It's just not a loud one. When someone is trying to provoke you, they expect heat. They expect defense. They expect explanation. What they don't expect is clarity delivered without emotion. And that's what disarms them. Here's the rule: short sentences, slow tone, grounded presence. You are not here to convince them. You are here to communicate yourself. Instead of saying everything you feel, say what matters. Phrases like, I'm not comfortable with this tone. I'm open to talking when this stays respectful. I'm going to step back if this continues. These are not threats. These are anchors. Notice something important. You're not telling them who they are. You're telling them what you will and won't participate in. That's the difference between control and self-respect. Provocation feeds on engagement. Boundaries starve it. And here's the hard truth: when you stop reacting emotionally, some people will escalate. They'll push harder. They'll mock your calm. They'll accuse you of being cold or dramatic. This is the moment where calm becomes courage. You don't argue with their accusations. You don't defend your boundaries. You let your consistency do the talking. Your steady tone sends a powerful message. I am not available for this. And whether they change or not is irrelevant. You have already protected your peace. In the next section, we're going deeper into the inner work that makes calm sustainable, not forced. I'll show you how to stop taking provocation personally, even when it feels personal. This is where real freedom begins. The moment someone provokes you, your mind tells a story. This is about me, my intelligence, my worth, my value, my respect. But most provocation has very little to do with you and everything to do with what's happening inside them. People provoke when they feel powerless. When they don't know how to express fear, they use anger. When they don't know how to ask for connection, they use control. When they feel unseen, they try to make someone else feel small. Understanding this doesn't excuse bad behavior, it explains it, and explanation creates distance. Distance is what keeps you calm. When you stop personalizing, you stop bleeding emotionally. You begin to observe instead of absorb. You start saying internally, this is information, not an identity. Their tone becomes data. Their words become signals. Their behavior becomes a mirror, not a verdict. And here's the shift that changes everything. You realize you don't have to prove your worth to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Calm grows when you no longer ask, why are they doing this to me? And instead ask, what pain might be speaking here? This question doesn't make you weak. It makes you grounded. Because once you see provocation as an expression of inner struggle, you stop entering the ring. You don't wrestle with their chaos. You stand steady in your truth. In the next section, I'll show you how to protect your calm after the moment has passed, how to release the emotional residue so it doesn't live in your body long after the conversation ends. Staying calm in the moment is powerful. But what you do after the moment determines whether calm becomes a habit or just a performance. Because even when you don't react, your body remembers. The tight chest, the clenched stomach, the replaying of words at 2 a.m., that's emotional residue. And if you don't release it, it doesn't disappear. It settles. It turns into resentment, exhaustion, or self-doubt. So let's talk about how to let it move through you without taking up residence. First, name what you feel, not publicly, privately. I feel angry. I feel disrespected. I feel hurt. Naming emotion reduces its grip. What remains unnamed controls you. What is named can be soothed. Second, move your body. You don't need a workout. You need circulation. a walk, a stretch, a few deep exhales. The body discharges stress through motion, not thought. Third, and this is crucial, don't rehearse the argument. Replaying conversations keeps your nervous system in a loop. It tells your body the threat is still happening. Instead, ask one grounded question. What did I protect here? Maybe you protected your boundary, maybe your dignity, maybe your peace. That's growth. And finally, offer yourself compassion. Not praise, compassion. Calm takes effort. Regulation takes practice. You're learning a new language under pressure. In the next section, we'll talk about patterns, how to stay calm when the same person provokes you again and again, and how to decide when calm must be paired with distance. Staying calm once is strength. Staying calm repeatedly in the same dynamic, that requires clarity. Because when the same person keeps provoking you, the question is no longer, how do I stay calm? The question becomes, why am I still available for this pattern's reveal intentions? Occasional outbursts are human. Consistent provocation is a strategy. Some people provoke to feel superior. Some provoke to avoid accountability. Some provoke because chaos feels familiar and calm threatens their identity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Your calm can become an invitation if it's not paired with limits. Calm without boundaries becomes endurance. And endurance is not the same as strength. This is where you stop explaining and start deciding. You decide how much access someone has to your time, your energy, your emotional space. You decide whether conversations continue, shorten, or end. You decide whether distance is temporary or necessary. And listen closely, distance is not punishment. Distance is protection. You don't owe unlimited access to people who repeatedly disrespect your nervous system. Staying calm does not mean staying close. Sometimes calm looks like fewer conversations. Sometimes it looks like leaving earlier. Sometimes it looks like not responding at all. And if guilt rises, because it will, remind yourself, I am allowed to choose peace over proximity. In the next section, we'll go inward again to the identity shift that makes calm natural, not forced. I'll show you how to become someone who is no longer easily provoked. Here's the deep truth most people never grasp. Calm is not a skill, it's an identity. You can learn breathing techniques, pause strategies, and grounding exercises, and they work. But the real power comes when being calm becomes who you are, not just what you do. Being unshakable starts with clarity about your values. When you know what matters most to you, your integrity, your peace, your boundaries, no one's words can shift that foundation. Your calm is rooted in what you stand for, not what others say about you. Next, you cultivate internal trust. You trust that you can handle discomfort. You trust that your worth is not contingent on others' approval. You trust that a challenging moment does not define you. This trust is the antidote to impulsive reactions. Then you practice emotional resilience. You allow feelings to rise and fall rather than suppressing or denying them. You feel anger without lashing out. You feel frustration without giving it a voice that harms you. You feel hurt without letting it settle in your identity. And finally, you embrace self-compassion. Every time you stay calm, you honor yourself. Every time you choose dignity over drama, you reinforce the version of yourself who does not surrender to chaos. You're not just surviving, you're growing stronger inside every moment you maintain your composure. When calm becomes your identity, provocation loses its power. You stop reacting automatically. You respond with intention. And the world begins to treat you differently, not because you demand it, but because your presence commands respect. In the next section, I'll show you how to use perspective as a shield to prevent even subtle provocations from disturbing your inner peace. One of the most overlooked tools for staying calm is perspective. Not a platitude, real perspective. The ability to step back and see the situation clearly without being trapped by emotion. When someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Next week? Next year? Most provocations are fleeting storms, not permanent damage, yet we treat them as life or death emergencies. That's why we lose calm so easily. Perspective allows you to separate the signal from the noise. The insult, the jab, the manipulation, it becomes data, not identity. It becomes information, not a verdict. You see the difference between what's important and what's designed to distract you. Next, perspective allows for empathy without enmeshment. You recognize the other person's fear, insecurity, or frustration, but you don't absorb it. You witness it without letting it define your emotional state. This is a powerful buffer against provocation. It prevents you from reacting from a place of unconscious pain. Finally, perspective is freedom. It reminds you that your calm is a choice, not a reaction. It allows you to step out of the story they're trying to write for you. You are not required to participate in every battle or answer every jab. You are free to choose your response or no response at all. When you combine perspective with the other tools, pause, grounding boundaries, identity, calm becomes natural, almost effortless. It's not performance anymore. It's truth. In the next section, I'll give you the closing wisdom, the statement that ties all of this together and leaves you ready to carry calm into every encounter. Here's the truth I want you to carry with you. Calm is your superpower. Not because it impresses others, not because it wins arguments, but because it protects your peace, your dignity, and your soul. Every time you stay calm in the face of provocation, you claim ownership of your life. You refuse to be hijacked by someone else's insecurities. Anger or chaos, you create space for clarity, for compassion, for courage. You show yourself every single time that your worth is not negotiable. Remember, calm is not the absence of emotion. Calm is choosing how to respond despite your emotion. Calm is breathing through discomfort, speaking truth without aggression, and holding boundaries without guilt. Calm is the conscious declaration, I am in charge of me, no matter what you do. And here's the most powerful part. When you embody calm consistently, it transforms not just your interactions, but your inner world. You stop living at the mercy of others' moods. You stop being reactive. You stop carrying unnecessary weight. You begin to move through life grounded, confident, and unshakable. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, pause. Breathe. Name your emotion. Decide your response. Stand in your values. Protect your peace. And know that by doing this, you're not just surviving the moment. You are growing stronger, wiser, and more empowered with every single encounter. This is your choice, your calm, your power. You are not defined by chaos. You are defined by how you show up in it